Welcome to 13 Degrees of Screams,
where we screen so you don't scream.
We're your host, Alex.
And Stephanie.
This week, we fight off some body-snatching parasites in The Faculty.
Before we get started, make sure you subscribe and click the bell to be notified when we post new episodes.
The Faculty is a 1998 American science fiction horror film directed and edited by Robert Rodriguez with a screenplay by Kevin Williamson. The Faculty follows a group of teens who begin to suspect that their teachers might not be entirely human. As they band together to uncover the truth, they face eerie and suspenseful challenges that test their courage and unity. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 57% critic score and a 57% audience score.
One night at Harrington High School in Ohio, the faculty are leaving after having a school budget meeting when Principal Drake realizes she's forgotten her keys. She goes back inside to get them when she's cornered by the school's football coach, Joe Willis. Joe stabs a pencil through her hand, and she runs to the door where the drama teacher, Mrs. Olson, is waiting outside encouraging her to run. She barely slips through the door in time to avoid the coach's attack when she's stabbed by Mrs. Olson. Damn, they must have really hated Principal Drake.
I always wanted to do that.
The following morning, a variety of students arrive with business as usual. There's Casey Connor, a dedicated but frequently bullied photographer for the school newspaper that works as an underappreciated assistant to Delilah Prophet, the paper's ruthless editor-in-chief and head cheerleader. Boy, oh boy, is this not stereotypical at all.
Meanwhile, Delilah's boyfriend, Stan Rosato, struggles with his decision to leave the football team in favor of improving his grades. Zeke Tyler, a sharp but rebellious senior repeating the year, discreetly sells a drug-like powder hidden in ballpoint pens, prompting concern from English teacher Elizabeth Burke.
Among the newcomers, Mary Beth Louise Hutchinson, a naive transfer student, befriends Stokely Mitchell, a self-proclaimed outcast who spreads rumors that she is a lesbian despite secretly having a crush on Stan. Meanwhile, Mary Beth herself develops feelings for Zeke, and those feelings appear mutual. I hope you caught all that. I promise it's not as confusing when you watch the movie.
However, the students begin noticing strange and unsettling changes in their teachers and classmates. The teens soon find the truth of the situation and must work together to save not only the school, but the world. Unbeknownst to them, alien-like parasites have invaded their school, gradually taking control of their host and altering their behavior. These highly adaptive creatures present a growing threat, leaving the students unsure of whom they can trust while working together to prevent a complete takeover. We are about to get into major spoilers for the rest of the plot. If you would like to skip ahead, please go to 7 minutes and 16 seconds for our ratings. Casey discovers a strange creature on the football field and takes it to the science teacher, Mr. Furlong, who identifies it as a potential new species of cephalopod-specific parasite called mesozoan. Just a normal day in Ohio.
Later, Delilah and Casey sneak into the teacher's lounge in search of a story for the school newspaper, but are forced to hide in the closet when they witness Coach Willis and Mrs. Olson infecting the school nurse with one of the parasites. They also find the body of Mrs. Brummel, another teacher. I guess that's also kind of important to the plot.
Casey and Delilah flee the scene, but when Casey calls the police, Mrs. Brummel's body is gone, leading authorities to dismiss his claims because there's absolutely no way the teachers could have just moved the body. Casey's parents, believing he is seeking attention, punish him and insist on finding him a doctor. These two have to already be infected. Why would someone make this shit up?
The next day, Casey shares his theory with Delilah, Stan, and Stokely, suspecting the teachers are becoming controlled by aliens. Zeke and Mary Beth mock the idea until Mr. Furlong attempts to infect them. Zeke kills him by stabbing him in the eye with his homemade drug-infused ballpoint pens. Sucks to be Mr. Furlong because he's definitely dead.
No coming back.
No, he did.
Zeke takes the group to his house where he experiments on the creature Casey retrieved, discovering it requires water to survive and can be killed with caffeine, a main component of his drug due to its sensitivity to hydration.
Zeke makes everyone take the drug to confirm they are uninfected, revealing Delilah has already been infected. She fights them off and escapes after destroying Zeke's lab and most of his drug supply. To be honest, this sounds like something she'd do even if she wasn't infected by an alien.
I think maybe it's time I try something I'm not so good at. Something different.
Yeah, and what am I supposed to do while you're on a yellow brick quest for a brain?
What?
Based on Stokely's theory that killing the alien queen will revert everyone back to normal, the group returns to the school where the football team is infecting opposing players during the game. Thank God the completely made-up science fiction novel she reads somehow managed to be completely accurate.
They isolate Principal Drake in the gym, believing her to be the queen, and fatally shoot her. Spoiler, she was not the queen, so the teens commit murder once more. How fun.
Stan goes out to the field and attempts to verify if their plan has worked, but becomes infected. Zeke and Casey retrieve more of Zeke's drugs from his car, with Casey distracting infected students while Zeke incapacitates Miss Burke in the parking lot. No matter what form she is in, I think Miss Burke cares a little too much about Zeke. Are we just ignoring that because he's over 18?
There is only one thing worse than a rapist. Boom. A child. No.
In the gym, Mary Beth reveals herself as the alien queen, having faked taking the drug earlier. Oh my god, who could have seen that coming? Not me.
Casey and Stokely flee to the swimming pool, where Stokely is pulled underwater and infected. Zeke and Casey regroup in the locker room, where Mary Beth, reverting to her human disguise, explains she seeks to take over Earth due to the dying state of her own planet. Maybe you should have taken better care of your things, Alien Beth. Not my problem, you weren't responsible.
She transforms into her true alien form, knocking Zeke unconscious and pursuing Casey. He traps her behind the retracting bleachers and injects her with the drug, killing her and halting his own infection. That was some strong-ass caffeine to have killed a giant alien.
The opposite would keep me alive. Casey reunites with Zeke and Stokely, both still alive.
A month later, life at the school returns to normal. Stan and Stokely have become dating, with Stokely shedding her goth persona. Ladies, do not change yourself for any man, and apparently being goth is bad in this movie.
Zeke joins the football team, where Mrs. Burke affectionately watches him practice. Again, are we supposed to be okay with this?
Delilah reforms her behavior and begins a relationship with Casey, who is hailed as a local hero as media coverage of the alien invasion emerges, even though the FBI denies it.
The Faculty is a cult classic and more modern retelling of the invasion of the Body Snatchers. The story deals with paranoia and trust as the characters work through their differences to fight off the alien invasion. While the archetypes are a little stereotypical, each character surpasses their individual issues to realize their true identity through teamwork and resisting oppression, making it a fun and unique sci-fi coming-of-age story.
Are you ready to discuss our ratings?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. What did you have for suspense?
I had a 2. I very nearly gave this a 3 just on the paranoia alone, on if you lose sight of someone for more than a moment, they could be infected. However, I ended up taking a point away because the majority of the characters outside of our main group were very obvious when they changed. For example, certain infected characters would repeat certain lines, or they would just have this blank stare.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
I gave it a 2 as well. I said, while the movie does a great job creating paranoia amongst the characters, the overall tongue-in-cheek tone and somewhat predictable reveals prevent it from getting the top score of 3. So,
yeah, I think we're in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
What did you have for atmosphere?
So for atmosphere, I gave it just the 1. While the movie mostly takes place in a high school, which is scary enough, the movie ends up getting at least 1 point because towards the end of the film, nowhere feels safe. Doesn't matter where they're going, they could be attacked by an alien at any given moment. So I had to give it the 1.
I had high school is terrifying on its own, so there's a point there. However, I rationalized the 2 with it being more about what's happening to that location and how quickly the invasion is spreading, to the degree that Casey points out that they can't wait any longer to act because they took over the whole town in a day. So imagine the impact globally.
Yeah, I mean, if they take over the whole world, I guess everything is just dangerous, right?
Right. It spreads so quickly out of the school, even with them infecting the teams and stuff. It's just ever moving, ever growing. They stage a mass ear infection check so then they could just spread it quickly to all the students, and everyone's like, I'm not going in there.
Yeah. It's kind of silly how the whole school just signs up for this. They're like, yeah, this is fine. And then our main character's like, no. Is this something that they do frequently at this high school? I don't know.
I don't know. A lot of them were apparently cool with it. They were just like, yeah, the ear infection check, sure.
Yeah, the annual ear infection. Well, actually, no, that makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised if there was an annual ear infection check.
Well, I remember in elementary school where they would do those little hearing tests and stuff like that sometimes, or, little vision tests to see how you were developing, and then the school nurse would call your parents and be like, hey, maybe Stephanie needs glasses or something.
Yeah. She can't see or hear nothing.
Maybe Stephanie's a bad test taker.
You're just like, do you hear something? I don't know. Do I hear something?
Was I
Oh my God.
supposed to?
I'm going to fail. I actually just renewed my driver's license and I did the eye test and they're like, let me know when you see a light. I'm just standing there like,
Anytime now.
it's because my glasses were in the way. She's like,
Good.
oh, take off your glasses. I'm like, is something wrong with me?
Oh no.
It was fine. It was just my glasses.
Okay, well that's good. I'm glad you're not blind and can't drive anymore. That would be a fun secret to keep.
What did you give plot?
I gave it a 2. I have my reasons. It's quick moving and doesn't drag at all. It has a lot of characters to keep your interest, but they all have their own personalities and purpose, so the story is easy for the audience to follow, and the movie works hard to make these connections feel genuine in this situation. I ultimately didn't give it a full 3 for some of the stereotypes chosen and how they decide to deal with those, mainly that of Stokely portraying herself as a goth lesbian when all she really wants to be is the football captain's girlfriend for some reason. Although considering the age of the movie, it still felt a little dated, like Breakfast Club had a similar character development, and that's 13 years older than this movie. So you would think we'd be a little bit more progressive at this point.
Progressive. Not the progressive.
Progressive.
Okay, I get it. I've seen this movie before, and I wanted to cover it again. And I don't remember the whole side plot where Stokely was pretending to be a lesbian. I was like, yeah, she's definitely a lesbian. And no. I'm like, oh, how sad. L for the community.
Oh, yes. It's funny, too, because one of the aliens approaches her early on and is like, if you're a lesbian, be out, be proud. And I'm like, but it's the alien. So you're saying the alien was wrong?
No. The aliens were more progressive, I guess.
Yes,
at
the
that
aliens
point.
are more progressive. Maybe Stokely should have taken the bug.
Right? She would have been better. Well, she wasn't actually, though. So
I guess.
It would have been a lie.
Yeah.
She would have been living a lie. I mean, she already is, I guess.
A confusing lie.
What a weird lie to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
She
okay.
said it protected her, and I'm like, how?
From what? From who? I don't know. I didn't get it, but I see you make fair points with the plot and the characters.
How about you?
I guess. I give the plot a 3. I said the faculty juggles a good number of characters and their relationships well, and I never felt confused about who's who. The writers did a great job getting these characters to work together, and the way their fates intertwined felt organic. The ultimate threat felt realistic, and I believed the danger they were in. While the ending may be a little bit predictable, I didn't think it hindered the quality of the story and ultimately found it satisfying. So I could agree with the characters being a little stereotypical, but I also did like they tried to change it too, because like Zeke, he's repeating his last grade, even though he is like really smart.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, they did kind of like subvert expectations a little bit. Like the girl that's the head cheerleader is also in charge of the yearbook and stuff. So she's like very quick, and she's dating the football player at the time too. And she does not have the time from day for him at all. And I'm like, are you sure you guys want to be together? And apparently they don't.
No, she's the worst. She's like very mean.
Yes. I almost feel bad for Casey because I'm like, that's not going to work out well.
I know. I was like, dude, no one wanted this at the end, I don't think. We're like,
right.
Boo. I teeter on Delilah being the worst, but also iconic. I can't tell.
Yeah, kind of.
I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of like on her side sometimes, but you know.
I've seen this before too, and I always forget that she's like one of the first in the main group infected. So like when they go and sit in the garage, I'm like, oh no.
Oh no. You can't tell the difference because she's just evil anyway.
Yeah, she's just so good. She's just so good at blending in.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny too, like the level of some of them. Some of them are like clearly like the lower tier aliens, I guess.
Yeah, I know. There's some that like you couldn't tell probably the difference between just them being a teen or being infected by an alien.
But then some of them were like blank stare, like,
yeah, I'll kill you now.
Time to go.
Right. I am curious, do you feel the similarities between this and Scream by chance? Because I call this like Scream with aliens.
Really? Okay. No, no, I don't get that sense. I feel like this is more like Breakfast Club with aliens, honestly, just like the whole like bringing together this group of unlikely friends and working against like this big oppressor. I mean, but aliens. Like,
Okay. I just asked because it was written by the same guy and same production company and all that
oh,
stuff.
oh, well,
So
then I
was
guess
just
I
curious.
missed it.
You did. You really did. No, I'm just kidding. It just explains why I like this movie so much.
No, that's fair.
Like, even the score was made by the same person.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
I'm like, it sounds like Scream. But I was just curious what you thought.
I mean, it's fun like Scream. I'll give it that.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah. What did you have for the villain danger aspect?
I gave it a 3. I said the aliens in this movie are scary because of their invasion of the body snatcher-like ability to hide. Anyone could be infected at any time. They infect people rapidly, and in no time, the world could be taken over. Because of their stealthy abilities and speed in which they can take over, the aliens and the faculty deserve a top score of 3 in my book.
Agreed. I also gave it a 3. What I had was, honestly, a top-tier monster. They're impenetrable to death aside from anything that can dry it out. Since humans are mainly water and consume water, we become the perfect homes for them to infect. They even beat out their predecessor invasion of the body snatchers because they need little to no time to take over a host. Additionally, with the invasion spreading so quickly, everyone's a suspect for who can be their leader.
Yeah, basically the same.
Yeah.
Once they're here, I mean, what are you gonna do
We're doomed. Like,
caffeine-laced drug pens, I guess, is really
Yeah.
the only solution. I wonder, a little salt. Are they like
Oh.
slugs?
maybe. Because they were chugging water. Like, it was almost comedic how much water they had shipped into the teacher's lounge, and then there's like no coffee in the pot.
Right. It was like the main character in Smile too,
Yeah.
with the Voss water bottles.
Yes. Every 2 minutes, chug one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This takes place in Ohio, so winter with the salt on the ground, they're not going to survive.
They
Also,
didn't pick a good starting climate.
no, because I'd be curious also if they could even deal with the cold.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it seems warm. It seems like fallish when because there's football going on, so it's got to be early in the year, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Can they deal with snow? That might be their ultimate downfall.
Yeah, maybe. They've never seen it. They won't know what's coming.
Realistically, their planet is actually just covered in snow. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
never mind. They're good. They're fine.
makes sense.
Damn it.
They just wouldn't do well in Arizona, that's all. Or something.
Florida.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
wherever it's
moist.
dry. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
Did you give this movie your extra special point?
I did. I was teetering on it because I didn't want to give it the point, to be completely honest, to like make it even more scary on my scale, because I don't find this movie like super scary, but realistically, the threat and the situation they're in is pretty scary. So I did end up giving it a 1, purely out of enjoyment of the movie and just like realistically, they're in a really bad situation that's could end the whole world. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it the 1. I'll give it the 1.
I agree too. Like, I did end up like changing my numbers after I thought it through because I was like, I don't want to give it like 3 across the board and then my extra special point. It's the scariest movie. Like,
3 3s across the board.
but it is such a fun movie and it's well put together considering how much they're juggling with like so many characters and then the alien. And I also had to give it the special point just because like I don't typically like an alien movie, and I like this. So that's a hard one for me. So I know it's a good movie if they can make me like it.
It's true. I feel like it's half high school drama with like there's aliens. It obviously turns into about the aliens, but I feel like the first half of this movie you could enjoy as almost like a little teen drama.
Yes, kind of. And it's 90s too, so it's like just that it's like that fun like Buffy sort of like filming and style as well. So
I was about to say it feels like a long episode of Buffy or something.
right.
So adding it up, I gave it a 10, and you also gave it a 10.
Sounds good. I mean, it's not so scary. I don't want to like misconstrue it, but
Right.
like it is a very good movie. So
it's like
watch
one of those
it.
yeah, it's one of those things you take the elements of the movie is what makes it like scary.
Mm-hmm.
but the overall tone, just know going in, the overall tone, it is a little lighthearted and there are comedic elements. So it's not like super scary.
Yes.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoy the show and listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, giving us a 5-star rating is super helpful and we'll always appreciate it. If you are watching the YouTube version, you could like and comment on this video and let us know what you'd like us to cover next.
You can find us on social media using 13 Degrees of Screams.
This has been 13 Degrees of Screams, and we will see you next week.
Bye!
Bye!